Have you ever heard a parent say to their children, "Can't you two just get along?" Or work friends say, "I wish we could come to some kind of agreement." Or how about a beauty pageant winner, wishing for world peace? These are good ideas or dreams, but how do these dreams become reality in real time and in real space? My name is Andrea Techera, and I'm an undergraduate student at Clark University. I have been conducting conversations with people in small rural communities along the open borders of Luxembourg, where the deconstruction of physical borders due to the Schengen Agreement signed between nations in 1985 has created a unique and complex environment where people, languages, ideas, stories, and identities can merge and intersect. It is with this context my conversations have shown a need for people to communicate across differences and find ways to work with each other for the greater good and for personal enrichment. My conversations have unearthed in places a shared mindset and similar identity that have been fluidly built throughout contact across borders and out of necessity. In the face of confrontation, the people I've spoken to search for common ground, where despite their differing histories and claims to multiple identities, they can work together in a way that benefits everyone by building identity together through which peace and partnership both become possible. My qualitative conversations have only scratched the surface of what there is to explore and research in the diverse border regions of Luxembourg. These conversations were grounded in qualitative understanding of identity navigation, using an approach that both is anthropological and phenomenological, using direct communication, participant observation, and aiming to describe, interpret, and or understand the lived experiences of the people in these border regions. My interpretation has been filtered through a white, middle-class, American female perspective that has no doubt caused limitations, but that also has allowed me to incorporate what I've learned from these communities and people into my own identity. The first conversation I will open up with was with a man that we'll call Bruce. He was born in Germany and into the World War. He positions himself within the developing war as a child of a man that was a Nazi soldier. He recognizes the atrocities of the Nazis and distances himself, both physically and verbally, from his German ethnicity. He says, "I am German because of the blood in my veins, but I do not love my country. I like it, but to love it, I would need to accept all of the awful things that happened with the Germans." Here, he positions himself even further away from his German identity. Though he lives close to the Luxembourg border, he does not travel there often. He can speak both languages, but does not feel like he's a true German and does not feel like he's Luxembourgish. He instead highlights the fact that he has educated himself in defense against his national history, and he's chosen to become a cosmopolitan. Bruce showed embarrassment for his nationality by saying, "Discrimination is crazy, and it's all over the place here in the borders." But he also claims hope for Europe and Europeans, as he positions Europe under the status of America and says, "We Europeans are learning from America. We are trying to become better." With an American student in front of him, he explains to me that we Europeans try to speak each other's language. We share media. We see each other and try to understand each other. Here, Bruce navigated many identities against the given context and highlighted his European and cosmopolitan identities that allow him to work with others in a constructive way as being the most important to who he is and who he identifies as. Another conversation with a man of a similar age, who we will call David, showed different identity navigations in many ways, but also similarities when it came to working together with others that differ from his language, his history, and ethnicity. This cooperation was done along the border regions as first a necessity, as people, ideas, language, economy, and other generators of identity building crossed the borders, mixed, and became entangled. Here, as a European, David worked through these differences to find common ground with others around him. He was born in Belgium, speaks French, Dutch, German, and English. He said, "I am Belgian first and European second." He says, "We are a small country that is always in a power struggle, so we need to adapt to the languages around us to get opportunities." He positions himself deep within the Belgian ethnicity and mindset. He defends his country and wants to protect it, but he avoids identifying with his small community and instead places himself with all of Belgium and as an active participant in Europe that adapts and works with the others he sees around him and the others that he perceives as more powerful countries along his borders. Though he protects his vulnerability within his identity as a small rural community member, he's proud of his Belgian roots and his ability to communicate with others in their own language as a European who can communicate across differences. This is something that I've seen come up multiple times within my small conversations. Time is fluid. Identity is fluid. My conversations over the course of this project have highlighted these attributes. Also, that they are both contact dependent. Identity is always shaping, shifting, undulating, and it's always under construction in time and space. Identities intersect, clash, thrive, or fade away, all within one person. The border regions surrounding Luxembourg have been a prime location to investigate the complex mosaic of identities that have emerged within the current existing contexts. The way identity navigation has been shown to me here proves that we can have a love for our nation, but also for the world. It shows that dominating and nationalistic ideology or sentiments are not necessary to have a show and love of country, that we can identify as part of many groups and still come together across differences, even language barriers, to promote growth, community, and peace. We can love and respect our histories without losing our passion for forward movement and a constructive future. There is a lot more work and investigation that needs and should be done here in the multiple and complicated border regions of Luxembourg. But here, from this project, I will take home with me curiosity to dig deeper in a new understanding of how I will and can become a global citizen and work with others across a multitude of differences, accommodating for those differences, creating an atmosphere of mutual respect and trust, where as a member of a town, a region, a country, and the world, I can help build towards the goal of a better, safer, and healthier world for everyone, regardless of how they identify.